Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NRG Stadium for today's press conference between, or ahead of tomorrow's matchup between Arizona State University and Texas A&M in the Advocare Texas kickoff. My name is David Fletcher. I'm the executive director of the game. We're very pleased to welcome both Coach Graham and Coach Sumlin here today. Gentlemen, welcome. And we'll start with Coach Graham.
Obviously, we're honored to be here and very honored to play in this game. I want to thank Advocare for inviting us and making us a part of it. For me and for our team, really special group of seniors, and a group of guys going into our fourth year, and it's a really special group that I'm really proud to coach and to bring here, especially to play against such a great team, great opponent. This is great for college football. Great for this state. Obviously, I'm from here, and it's a great honor for me to come back here and play. We've got about 10 players from the state on our roster, so it's exciting for us. And even though I lost a lot of money because I've spent a lot of money on tickets for all my family and cousins, and everybody wants to come to the game, but we're very thrilled to be here and looking forward to competing against such a great team. Coach Sumlin has done a tremendous job at A&M, and we're looking forward to competing tomorrow with those guys.
But thanks. We also are happy to be here, excited. I want to thank the Advocare people, David, and Jamie Roots, everybody for the invitation. It's a great opportunity for us. I think it's, as Todd said, we're both in year 4, programs that are growing. Playing in arguably two of the toughest divisions in the 2 of the toughest leagues in the country to kick off college football season for us, for both teams, it's a great challenge, and those are kind of games you want to be a part of. Being back in Houston, we got a lot of friends here, and we got a great venue to play in a national TV stage. So for us at Texas A&M, it's a huge honor to be invited to play in this type of football game to start the year, and we're excited to be here.
We'll open up for questions now. You can raise your hand. We have mics so we can drop off.
Throw this out to both of you guys, Kevin, if you want to start. I know you talked about during the week how it doesn't make or break your season, but what an opportunity it is when you open up against a real team like Arizona State. And then Todd, if you could follow it.
Yeah, we've had different kind of openers over the course of time, but when you have an opponent, a consensus top 20 opponent, a quality football team program to start the year, gets your team's attention in the off season probably a little bit more than you would open up against the lesser opponent. So yeah, the sense of urgency is always there, but you've got an opponent that's skilled. Team speed, the overall quality that Arizona State brings to the table. You don't have time to, as they say, adjust to game speed. You better get up to game speed right away. So, particularly on this surface in here with that roof closed, it's going to be 68 degrees for the first time for both. And so our guys will be ready to roll. But it's a fast track with a bunch of fast guys out there. Like I said, I think it gets your team's attention real quick in the off season, probably a little bit better than anything else. And the exposure that both programs get tomorrow night for that TV slot is great for recruiting and great for our fans.
Yeah, for us, we start off conference play with USC and UCLA, so this is obviously playing in this game. Our summer's been different. Every year that I've been at Arizona State, we've started off with obviously not this type of game. So it's a big challenge. And then obviously the fan base that A&M has here, and it's going to be a big time atmosphere. And we'll find out exactly where we're at. And like Coach said, I think it's going to be exciting for the fans to watch because there's a lot of really, really fast guys on that field. Both teams are very, very explosive, and so it's a major challenge to play this type of game in week one. But on the same hand, the benefits, the national exposure, and when you're trying to get better, the only way you can do that is to play the best. And so that's why we're here. And I think it's a challenging game, but it's one that's exciting for fans, excited for the game.
Todd, you guys have faced each other before in Conference USA. What do you recall about those meetings?
Well, the first time I tried to forget. It's been hard to forget that one. We kicked their butt really good. And then I tell you, that one wasn't as bad as the second one. I tell you, we had the second time we were in Tulsa, and it was just an unbelievable game. I'll tell you, we both had very explosive teams, and it had gone back and forth. I think they got an onside kick and then kicked like a 50. I don't know, 53. Now that I remember, it was 50. It was 50 something, but it was rough. And then obviously we were able to get them the last time we played them. But Coach is a guy I got a lot of respect for, and he's obviously been at Oklahoma, been at A&M, and obviously going against them, we know what to expect. A very, very well coached football team, very physically tough football team, and you better make sure that you're sound, because they're very explosive as well. So, that's what I remember, and a lot of respect for Coach and the job that he's done, and obviously we know we got our hands full.
Y'all both have spent time in Houston and worked in Houston. Does it make, I know you're worried about your team and the performances, but does it make it a little bit more special when you come back around to a place where you worked and where you it's had been part of your path?
I don't know, I think there's a comfort level for me, but, I don't play. So, we got, knowing a lot of people and being in this building or being at the hotel we're at or getting around, that's for me. But for our kids, we got a lot of kids who've never been here. So, that's all different. You can talk about it all you want, but the guys who play have to go through the routine and then come into this building and play in NRG, which is a fabulous facility, a place that's hosted the Super Bowl. And, for a lot of the guys on our teams that are younger players, they've watched that. They haven't played in here, and so it's a great opportunity for them. So for me personally, for a couple of our coaches, there's some familiarity, but there's a bunch of other guys who are going to dictate what happens in this game, and they're going to be on the field.
Yeah, I think so. My deal, obviously coming back, I love coming to Texas. That's where I was born and raised, and coached high school football in the state for about 10 years, and love coming here. But like Coach said, it's the same thing. I mean, I stand on the sideline. It's nice to come back. It's nice to have my family get to come watch, and it's nice for our players to have families here that are on team. But there's not been much. You play a game like this, there's not much time to reflect it and enjoy your visit. You have to work and get prepared for tomorrow, and do everything we can to try to give our guys an opportunity to be successful.
Coach Graham, kind of going off of that, what have you told your players about Texas, especially the ones who are not from here, and also about the fact that A&M is just down the road and a lot of Aggies live here in Houston? So have you talked to them at all about that culture?
Well, we've tried to prepare them. We've talked mostly about our opponent and who we're facing and what to expect, and we've done the best we can to try to simulate the speed that they have at their skill positions, and they're very explosive in special teams and on offense. And so we spent a lot of time doing that. We've spent a lot every practice with the crowd noise and that. But it's I've been to several A&M games when I was a high school coach and coming down and visiting, and it's pretty hard to simulate how loud that's going to be. So we've done the best we can to prepare for that, and but we spend most of our our time not talking about visiting Texas. We've talked about preparing to play, one of the best teams that we're going to play.
Coach Graham, with two new offensive tackles, how do you prepare for that pass rush and John Chavis' first game as well?
Well, that's what I said the other day. I said, well, these two, they've never played before, so they're just going to think that's the way they all are, because they're fixing to find out. They've got, I think, two really good, maybe the best pass rush in the country, and then, but on that, you got to get out there and you got to play, and I do feel like that this is the best offensive line we've had. We've got veterans inside. We're very talented, at the left tackle position, and Billy McGee from right here and from Dallas, Texas there has really been a great story. A guy that's really worked his tail off and has really progressed and done well. So top to bottom, we got the best offensive line we've had since we've been there. Obviously the matchup, you're not ever gonna, you just gotta, you gotta get in there and battle, and you gotta have a good solid plan to try to minimize his disruption, and that's going to be a challenge. We've tried to simulate that. It's pretty hard to simulate how good a player he is.
Coaches, with the new college football playoff landscape, why do you think it's so important for big games like this between conferences like the SEC and Pac-12 to happen?
Yeah, I think, somebody was talking the other day, this game's big this weekend. As we go down the road, what you found out last year is that games like this come into play in November, when people start talking about strength of schedule, outside who you played, what the score was, all those types of things. So, yeah, I think just looking back at last year and the teams that were involved in the Final Four, as some people call it, some people were left out because of strength of schedule, and obviously games like this, with two teams that are playing in really, really good divisions. As I said, we start this thing with arguably the two toughest divisions in college football. So to kick off the year with two teams that are representing those, it's a big deal. But later on, as things shake out, those are the kind of things that can separate the current two teams are playing tomorrow and other teams that we're going to play in our leagues.
Yeah, I think with the playoff deal, it's somewhat you want to play in these kind of games, but you also can hurt yourself in the postseason because very few people teams are going to go through the SEC and win it without a loss. The same thing with the Pac-12. No one since I've been there has won the Pac-12 without a loss in the conference. And so when you play out of conference and you play top people, and we've had times where we played Wisconsin, Notre Dame in the same year, and you split with them, you hope that didn't end up hurting you when it comes to the playoff. But at the end of the day, I really am a firm believer that that it's the team playing teams at the top. Playing the best is how you get to you find out, you get to compete. It makes you better as a football team. All that. As a college fan, I'm a fan. I grew up in this state, coached high school ball here. I love the game, and one of the things I'd love to see in the future is I couldn't imagine a playoff that you didn't have the Pac-12 champion, the SEC champion in it. So I'd love to see more weight put on the conference champions, and obviously that involved expanding, because I think you ought to have an automatic bid if you win especially when you're talking about the major conferences and how hard that is to do. That's pretty hard, to get done. So you hope these games like this, they really do look at them and they don't end up being something that hurts you, because I think it's good for college football and it's exciting, and these are games like fans want to see, and players want to play in, and coaches want to coach you.
Both of you guys have had opportunities to coach in neutral site games and getting a chance to play in NFL-sized stadiums. How has that experience sort of helped you guys prepare for this matchup?
Well, for us, we played Notre Dame in Dallas, and we were really trying to get our program started. I thought it helped us tremendously. You know, we had not been in that type of environment, and you know, it helped us. And obviously, you know, the last year was able, you know, played them and did a lot better job. But it's a neat opportunity, especially the national stage that you're on, and the opportunity for your team and exposure is second to none. And the other side of it is you're going to play a really good opponent in these games, and you got to play really well to win.
Yeah, you know, for us, we're opening a new stadium, and it's a fabulous place. But as recruiting goes and giving guys the opportunity to play, you know, for us to play in Kyle Field and then play here in NRG, which is hosting the Super Bowl, play Arkansas every year in AT&T, gives our guys an opportunity to play in some of, if not the best venues in the country. And you know, we've been able to go to Atlanta and play there, and so you know, it's all good if all those guys are still playing. We get some guys that will be running out here for the first time, and hopefully they'll stay focused on what's going on instead of looking up in the stands and paying attention to the crowd. Because you know, I've been in here for just not getting here for a couple playoff games, and when that roof's closed, it's loud in here. So it's going to be a